particular TVT. Hey everybody, I will change the screen in 1 second. I am just setting up the voting. We are going to be having Drewbie against Merz. Once again, this is one of those games that I had no warning getting into, which is why I am having to look stupid and fail with the overlays and whatnot, but that's okay, because now we're going to be getting into it. We're going to be directly on top of dignitas.Merz, who will be the blue Terran in the bottom right, going against ROOT.Drewbie, who is going to be the pink Terran in the top left. If you guys would be so kind as to go to zanderfever.tv/vote, that would be a wonderful thing, as I am so curious about what you guys are going to be thinking, because we've got Root, I don't want to say brand new, but the brand new returning team from Root Gaming with their original lineup basically intact. So we're going up against now Dignitas, who's one of the top teams out there, and we're going to be in a very, very cool TVT. So zanderfever.tv/vote will be wonderful, as I highly doubt Merz actually has the 100% voting at this point in time. I find that incredibly difficult to believe, so guys, please prove me wrong. But we are going to be seeing that Dignitas' Merz is throwing down the racks, no gas yet. Same is true for both players, so we will not be seeing at the very least a super fast refinery build to try and get out at the very minimum a factory ASAP after the barracks. But TVT is a really crazy matchup. Basically, any strategy can work. Marines are the dominating unit in the matchup, as they are just so strong. But upgrades are incredibly important, because if you guys have ever seen a group of Marines attacking each other, where one of the groups has a 1-1 upgrade lead, it is not even close how solidly those win. A easy way to think about the upgrades is that when you have an upgrade lead, your units do an additional damage. If you have an armor lead, the opponent does 1 less damage per shot. And if you add that up, that's literally you do 2 more damage per shot than they do per shot. And when you have a ton of small units like Marines, that adds up to such an incredible degree that the DPS ends up being astronomically in favor of the person that has the upgrades. Upgrades are honestly one of the most important things in this entire game. Just think about the period of time where people thought you honestly couldn't go bio against Protoss because Protoss could have that upgrade advantage. It is that powerful to have upgrades, and TVT is such a good example of that kind of play. But Merz has gone for a gasless expansion, as has ROOT.Drewbie. So I'm very curious into watching what these guys are going to be doing in terms of their add-ons, their play, whether we're going to see somebody try and go for mech, someone go for bio, or mix the bio mech, and whether we're going to have Vikings and medevacs, all that sort of shenanigans. Odds are neither of these players will be going for Banshees after this opener, especially because Merz is now throwing down additional racks. He's going up to 4 racks without any type of gas, which means he may be planning on doing some kind of push. Oh wow, actually Drewbie is doing a really nice push right now, really small push, just 2 Marines and 1 SUV, and it's going to end up being able to do a little bit of damage. But here we go. Merz is going to come in with 4 SUVs, coupled with some Marines. And wait a second, is he okay? He forces Drewbie back, but in the end, that was actually a pretty fair trade. And actually, you know what? Merz came out on top. Drewbie's little cute pushy thingy was basically designed to probably deal with faster tech play and just get a little bit of scouting done. So Drewbie's got the information that the expansion is up, and you know how he's using that information? To go for a 3rd base at 5 minutes. And look at Merz. He has seen absolutely nothing. He's playing completely blind, and this is the kind of play that just absolutely destroys blind play. Because if we're having any kind of passivity out of Merz, that'll be bad. But the point I was making before is that this heavy Marine count in the start means we could have a very early push, just centered mostly with the Marines. And if you see how he's staggering up his Marines, odds are he's going to grab the watchtower with these 4 Marines, a nondescript number, and he's going to then be able to push out with all the other Marines and start attacking. And unfortunately for Drewbie, he does not have any bunkers out in the field yet. He's basically relying on passivity, and he doesn't have the watchtowers himself, so he's got no warning that he's about to get hit with a bunch of Marines going across the map. You see how Merz already has more than twice the Marine count of Drewbie, and they have even SCV counts. That's really bad for Drewbie, to put it lightly. Merz could actually just win it. I hate to be non-suspenseful, but this is going to be a really tough hole for Drewbie. Drewbie's going to be forced to pull SCVs because we see a decisive advantage in these marine count for dignitas.Merz, but Drewbie does have a good concave. But there we already see him retreating. Where's SCVs? There are the SCVs. There the attack. And we see Merz actually focus firing down some of those marines, but the marine count from Merz is going to make Drewbie really wish he had just thrown down a bunker, because now we're seeing that these SCVs are starting to get picked off. But Drewbie does have 3 orbital commands at the moment. We are seeing him pushing around. The SCV is doing a good job attacking, a little bit of damage. But look at this count of Marines. Even with all the nice defense by Drewbie, it just may not matter. We've got SCVs that are falling, and we've got Marines that are just dealing so much damage. And this orbital command is literally lost almost half of its health. Drewbie is producing as much as he possibly can. He's trying to get out stim, but you know what? Combat Shield will actually be a better defensive move from him because it's going to be done faster. But we already have Merz retreating. He's not going to try and push his advantage. And that's actually going to allow Drewbie a chance to get back into the game. Drewbie does have the 3 orbital commands. Merz is not moving up in terms of economy, just in terms of racks count. He may just completely not even go for factory tech or anything. At the very least, not yet, but he's just going straight Marine. And there are ways to go straight Marine in TVT. Yeah. Alright, cool. So now we're going to be having Merz moving across the map as it looks like he may actually not move across. I think he's just going to move around and getting, at the very least, his entire army together, and then he may start pressing over. But if we look at this, Drewbie is going to retreat his 3rd base and make it into his 2nd base. He's going to try and consolidate his defenses. As we can see, Merz is going to be gearing up because he saw that 3rd base. He's actually ready to go ahead and start attacking it. But we're going to watch as a salvage is actually going down on that bunker, and Drewbie is going to get this command center a little assaulted. But with that knowledge, Merz is going to see that the command center went left, and he knows that Drewbie is actually going completely onto 1 base now. What? But Drewbie does have 5 racks, and he's got his factory on the way, so starport tech should be coming soon for him. Merz already has his started along with the double eBay, so we are going to be seeing Merz trying to get that upgrade advantage or something. But you know what? Drewbie's got his 1-1 already completed, so this is going to be really unfortunate for Merz if he ends up engaging now, because that 1-1 is so important. Everything I was talking about before is going to be super relevant now. But the thing is, Combat Shield is not here for Drewbie yet. He does have Stim, though, and if you look at Merz has Combat Shield but no Stim. But the thing is, Combat Shield Marines against Stimmed Marines without Combat Shield actually, I believe, win. Because they're basically going up against Marines that have 35 health when they have 55 health, and even though the Marines attack a little bit faster when they have that 35 health in the stim, they're still going to be able to do a lot of damage. I don't know how the math works out with the 1-1 upgrade as part of that little bit of a scenario, but we have a 3rd base going down for Merz, and that's really, really important. We also have this Marine just patrolling around, looking for any kind of drop play from Drewbie. But Merz is doing a good job of actually keeping an eye out with this 2-kill Marine. That's actually pretty significant for a Marine, considering how many of them are in the same army. We just saw Combat Shield finish for Drewbie, and this is a deadly timing. We do have Medivacs out for Merz, and that's a really big factor in these battles as well. But only 2 is not as much as it could be, but 4 should be out by the time this push comes along, and Merz should have warning of it too, because as you can see, he can kind of stare at both the Space Shark as well as this entire mass of pink Marines that are going across the map, and Drewbie's going to let him have complete knowledge of it. But you know what? Drewbie wants to hit this command center, or maybe just wants to get a better position down here. But there he goes, Stim from Merz, and that's going to be really important. He's going to allow him to push forward. He's got the massive, holy god, advantage. Both the players had the 1-1 for that battle. The Medivacs in favor of Merz, and Merz had the higher Marine count. That is a terrible battle for Drewbie. There's no other way to say that. That is a terrible battle for Drewbie. Alright, so now Merz is getting his 3rd base now completely up and running, so his economy is now much stronger. But you know what? Let's go ahead and see what your voting is saying now, as more people should have voted. 50-50! My god! 50-50, that is really as close as you can mathematically get. Alright, so both players are going for this massive Marine style. If you look at Merz, his 2-2 has just now begun, and the same thing is actually eerily true of Drewbie. I mean, these upgrades should be more in favor of Drewbie. He had his 1-1 done much faster, but I guess he must have delayed his armory tech or something. But Merz is now coming in with some siege tanks, and that's going to be really, really important. We see that Drewbie is not getting siege tanks. He does have his factory done, but he's focusing mostly on pure marine and factory tech, which is good and all, but Merz is definitely an advantage, a significant advantage. And Drewbie has very few SCVs actually, and if you look at the units killed, that's because Merz has partially killed SCVs when Drewbie has not been able to, but it goes beyond that. We can see that neither player is actually making SCVs, and that's actually really bad for Drewbie. He's basically trying to use the 3 orbital commands to mule his way back, but he needs more income, he needs more army and everything. But Merz is gearing up for a really strong attack. This Marine manages to stim and escape the siege tank damage that was hitting him, and is now as if he was a non-combat shielded stimmed Marine. But that will be fixed now. So are we going to see the attack coming from Merz? He does have the siege tank, and that is massively important. His siege mode, though, is so late. It's only just now started. We've got more siege tanks in play, and the barracks are done. But to be honest, all Merz has to do is just contain Drewbie some more. Drewbie is pure Marine, which is wonderful and all, but he's got to split, because now he's going to have to deal with siege tank splash, and he's not going to have an upgrade advantage. If he had an upgrade advantage, he'd have a little more room for error, but since he does not have that upgrade advantage, it's going to be really bad. Merz is now maxed. Merz has added on a bunch of racks. He's getting another command center. He's going to be on 4 bases, while it looks like Drewbie is still going to be on 2, but Drewbie should be getting his 3rd. Yes, he's getting his 3rd. He's flying away his command center now to land his 3rd finally, but his super fast 3rd now has been completely nullified this entire game, and it's given Merz this opportunity to be such an elite. And then what is up with these upgrades being identical, literally at the same second these were started? There's a half-second lead for Drewbie on that +3 attack, and Merz is okay. That's just eerie. That's just not right. That is not right at all. That's obnoxious. But Merz is here with his siege tanks all sieged up and everything. There's no way Drewbie can actually engage against that. Drewbie needs to start dropping and doing other things. But Merz is getting a 5th base, and I'm saying 5th base because this should be his 4th base. But he's doing a lot of good damage right now. He's going to be able to kill off the destructible rocks. And just look at how much DPS the tanks add on that. That just shows you the strength of armor upgrades. Because those Marines with a +2 attack were doing so little to the rocks. And then we have the siege tanks just with 1 shot just doing more than a half a dozen Marines. Alright, but now we're having them pushing in. Well, we have stims. We have siege up from Merz. And he's going to get a nice hit onto the units of Drewbie. Alright, so the units of Drewbie are pushing around. And by the way, guys, I'm very curious about what you guys think about the sub-bar being over here instead of over here. Duzo, the moderator in the chat, is actually the one who made it yesterday, and I'm kind of curious on what you guys think of it. As I personally like it, but I want to know what you guys are thinking as well. But look at, oh no, Drewbie's fully loaded up, and I see no way that Merz does not see that. You see him stimming every Marine. He's going to start getting them into his main base or something, or try and defend against the drop that's happening down here. His orbital command is actually going to be saved, and we see Drewbie's going to lose these medevacs and the Marines. The stimming of Merz, and actually Drewbie's going to escape with one of them. Nice job there, but we're going to have the massive drop here from Drewbie, and will he start dropping down here? He may just need to drop just a single medevac down there, and he will do just that. Now we're having, oh, the turrets are doing so much damage, picking off medevacs. Oh, that's such a big amount of Drewbie's army that's now just dead for free, and we're seeing them continue to move in. We got a siege tank in here as well, and there are no frames per second. Celebrate me getting a new computer later on. Oh my god, as they are pushing forward, stimming is happening. These medevacs are doing so much to help out Drewbie, but right now the upgrades are completely even, but Merz is bringing back all of this army, and Drewbie is just so far away from being max at the moment. SCVs are finally getting killed by Drewbie, though, in his last 2 drops. Drewbie's now killed 34, and we're having Merz go for a big counterattack right now, attacking everything. This is insane. Drewbie has got his Drewbie's got his +3 armor about to complete. Merz's 2-2 is... Wait a second, there's no +3s for Merz. Drewbie just gave himself an opportunity, but I don't know if his opportunity is going to be able to be used because he's so far behind in the counts of the Marines and everything. He's now lost his 3rd orbital command down there. These SCVs are going to fall. No way they're going to be able to survive. But we also have a drop down here from Drewbie as well, and my... Yikes. 117 Marines are out from Merz. Merz almost has the same amount of Marines as Drewbie has total supply. That's not right. That's not right. That shouldn't happen. But here we have Drewbie going for more attacking. But Drewbie's 3-3 is done, and Merz only has 2-2 for his Marines. Merz needs to rebuild his E-base to try and get those out, because the Drewbie's drops now are going to be really, really effective, because he can be Marines. He can be down a few Marines in the defense and the attack, and he'll still be okay because he's got that 3-3 upgrade. That 1-1-1. That 1-1-1. Yeah, it's not 1-1-1. That 1-1 lead in the upgrades is super important, as I was explaining before, with the fact that if you have a 2-upgrade lead in TVT against your opponent, what it means is you deal additional 2 damage per shot on Marine than your opponent does, and that's a ridiculous amount of damage, to say the least. Especially when you have this amount of Marines. That is literally a, let's see, 2 out of 9 is what, 11, 20. That's a 22% damage advantage for your Marines versus the Marines of your opponent. That's ridiculous. But these siege tanks are really what could give Drewbie a bad day. He's got to be careful in how he engages, when he engages, and the spread of his Marines is going to be super, super, super important. This is going to be really, really key, and to be honest, I want to see Merz actually throw down turrets on the side. He's got the eco lead, he just has to be able to use it. He's literally forced Drewbie to lift off his main orbital command and send it over here to where his third base would be. And I really want to know what my frames per second are right now. I think 9, 10. Wow, that is bad. That is bad. I am sorry, guys, but I'm getting a new computer. I should be building it later today. My parts are shipping and they're out for delivery, so that's my excuse. I'll be able to bring you true HD later on. Just saying, guys. Alright. But let's see. Drewbie is now finally at max, and this is his opportunity to do real damage. You can force an unsiege with this drop down here in the bottom left, and oh my god, I just got a pop up from Catalyst Control Center ATI. What? Go away. Go away. I want to watch Starcraft. Okay, pop-up gone. We now have all of these medevacs going down here into the bottom of this third base of Merz. They're going to be able to do a good bit of damage, but the thing is, if Drewbie attacks into the siege tanks, that advantage may disappear. Drewbie is still purely Marine, but this 3-3 of lead of Drewbie is going to be actually gone soon, as the 3-3 from Merz is actually, but oh, if Drewbie can actually pick off those E-base, that'll be massively important. We're having the siege tanks get engaged right now. Drewbie is getting hit by so much splash damage. We're having the frames per second dropping to little tiny amounts as we're just watching Drewbie completely envelop the army. But is the siege tank count just enough to deal with the Marines? It's so close. Merz has got Marines down there. The E-base here are still alive. They're actually about to complete. The Merz has the food lead, and here, oh no, the medevacs of Drewbie get picked off. There's only 6 left. The E-base are about to complete. Those complete. It may not be possible for Drewbie to come back. The 3-3 is now done, and Merz has sealed himself a huge lead. He's getting this command center down yet again, and this is really bad. I'm clearly fatigued from yesterday because I'm already getting lightheaded. That does not bode well for the casting all of today, but you know what? I'm going to continue anyway. I've got frozen pizza that I can eat soon, and that should help me with the energy, because I had very little for breakfast, and that's really bad because I don't want to pass out. Once again, guys, if I pass out, please call 911 and tell them that a caster on the internet passed out. You don't know where he is, but they should look everywhere. It'll probably lead to a really funny news story, and maybe you can get credit for being the one to call 911. But look at Drewbie going for this kill on the supply depot, stimming the Marine. He wants to kill this supply depot. It must fall. It is burning down. The Marine is going for the shots, and he doesn't even get a kill. Oh, that sucks. The Marine doesn't get credit for his work. Oh, I'm sorry, Marine. I value your work. You're also staying alive in an impossible situation. Just saying. Wow. Okay. Alright, so now we've got this single Marine with 1 health of is going to go ahead and get hit. But Drewbie has got this going down, and the thing is, oh no, the Marine that didn't get paid for his work with the credit for a kill is now dead. And you know what? There are a couple of Marines here that actually have credit for work, and you know what? They didn't take down a full building on their own. This is discrimination. This is absolute discrimination. So we're moving around, and nope. I'm happy. Thanks, though. Alright, so we're going to be pushing around and moving around as we're moving along and just checking this out. And, hey, that's not very nice. Maybe that's why I said no to you. Okay? Okay, Terran? Maybe that's why. Who knows? But thank God I have the sensor on. Okay, so now Drewbie has got a whole lot of opportunities to just start dying, because Merz is just streaming forward with a ton of Marines. He's got the spread. Drewbie still has no tanks, and with the medevac count being in the favor of Merz, plus he's got the siege tank support, Drewbie is not getting the concave that he needs, and we're having more damage being done by Merz than it is by Drewbie. And you know what, guys? If you want, we are going to be able to go to low graphics if you want to have a little more frames per second. I would completely understand. It's all up to you guys. It looks a little better this way, but who knows? Because that's a lot of drop frames. I don't know if you guys really want to see that. And it's actually not drop frames through the stream. It's all because of Starcraft and my really bad computer. But that was an awesome TVT. I've never seen pure Marine last out so long against superior economy, army counts, and everything. So Drewbie handled that incredibly well. But not quite enough to get that edge, and we do end up seeing the victory going towards Merz. So really well done. Let's move on to some more games.